Hi there guys, and welcome to the first episode of Feedback Friday. The aim of Feedback Friday is to get us all to understand how important feedback is, and ultimately it's a crucial part of not only learning but development, and ensuring that we can look to enhance what we're looking to do, whether it being as a coach, as a player, as a person, whatever it needs to be. So the aim of Feedback Friday is to try and open up some of those options that may not necessarily be readily available or you may be unaware of that go on a regular basis. And in the first episode today, what I want to have a look at is something that I personally feel around how players can sometimes not see the feedback that's already around them, and they look to the coach before they look for their own feedback that's already there. So today we're going to take a little bit of a snippet out of one of the coaching sessions I've done this week, and we're going to have a look at and try and analyse what feedback there is on offer for this player before I actually give any interventions whatsoever. Now, I've taken this session completely out of the context of what it is, so feel free to have a look at it and see what you think. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily relate to what actually happened in that session. But here's a little clip of it. Have a little look, see what you can see, and then have a think about what feedback there may be on offer to that player in that time frame that I've shown you.
Oh, yes. Set of bails. Sorry.
Okay guys, so we've had a little look at that clip. Now for me, without any intervention from myself, I can see 6 different pieces of feedback that the player could quite readily access. So if we take little snippets out of that session, what you'll be able to see is the first bit of feedback that I see. If we start from the chain working backwards on the video, the first bit will be where the player lands. So there'll be some foot markings in and around the crease that will give him some really good feedback about where he is in terms of width on the crease. So is he tight to the stumps, mid-crease, wide on the stumps? But then also whether he's behind the line or it's a no ball or not, which is a really important piece of feedback that we need to have a look at to make sure that when we go out into the game, we're not bowling no balls on a regular basis. The second piece of feedback that the player can access is the feel of the release. So when he lets go of the ball without seeing the outcome, what does it feel like? Does it feel like he's ripped down the back of the ball as he wanting to? Does he feel like he's come around the outside of the ball? Does he feel like he's got on the inside of it? That piece of feedback is something that he can feel, and only I as the coach can see. I can't feel what he's feeling there, so that's a really important piece of feedback for him that he can develop without any support from me. The third piece is when he gets into his follow through, where his foot marks are from there. So you can see here where he's bowling to a left-hander, where his feet go after that, whether he's happy with that, whether he's happy that he's either tight to the danger area or away from it. Is that going through on the line that he wants to? Does he take far enough before he gets off the pitch? It gives him lots of different bits of feedback around where his body's going and where his follow through takes him after he lets go of the ball. The fourth piece of feedback is around where the ball is when it is due to pass the stumps. Now, if he's looking to hit the top of the off to a left-hander here, you can see that where that ball is as it passes the stumps, although it'll be a challenge to see for him from a depth perception because of the ball's down there and he can't necessarily see that from side on, he gets a good understanding of where the length may be that he needs to bowl to be able to hit the top of the stumps. The fifth bit of feedback that you can see is where myself as the catcher or a keeper catches the ball. That'll give you some feedback around the pitch conditions, maybe something to do with how he's released it and what impact that has on the delivery itself, because the majority of the balls that have gone through to me so far I've caught quite high, whereas this one I've caught quite low. So there's obviously something that's been slightly different, and that may be to do with his release, maybe to do with anything off the pitch. So it's a bit of feedback that he can instantly have a look at. Then the final piece of feedback is the ball. Now, as you can see here, as I twirl it in front of the camera, you'll get lots of different scuff marks, and where those scuff marks are indicate where the ball has landed more often than not when it hits the pitch. Now, there'll be a couple on there where he hits the wooden stumps. So earlier in the session, you don't see this on the video, but there was a massive chunk taken out the shiny side where it hits the stumps, but then all the ones around the edge of the seam are areas that he can look at as feedback about whether he's hitting the area on the seam that he wants. Am I landing it on the rough side or the shiny side or completely on the seam, and am I happy with that? So we've had a little look at what feedback is on offer for this bowler in here today. Hopefully you guys can have a little think about that and then go and apply it into some of the practices that you guys have. I hope this video has been some useful feedback for you. Feel free to give us a like on Twitter and Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube account. Thanks very much.